After launching, the Kamala Harris campaign claims to have raised over $100 million. Washington as of Monday night. Vice President Kamala Harris had the backing of at least 27 state delegations, which is more than the majority of Democratic delegates required for her to clinch the Democratic nomination for president. In advance of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago early next month, delegations will formally nominate Harris for president via a virtual roll call if those endorsements remain true. Over $100 million was raised for her presidential campaign between Sunday afternoon and Monday night, the campaign announced early on Tuesday. President Biden halted his re-election campaign and backed Harris midday on Sunday, at which point Harris launched her campaign. The staggering sum of money was raised through joint fundraising groups, the Democratic National Committee, and Harris campaign. It highlights the vice president's significant financial edge over any prospective rivals for the Democratic candidacy. The campaign had originally reported raising $81 million in the day following Mr. Biden's withdrawal. According to Team Harris, it was the most money raised in a single day in presidential history. Over 888,000 grassroots donors made contributions in only one day, according to the campaign, and for 60% of them, it was their first payment of the 2024 election cycle. According to Team Harris, a teleconference facilitated by the organization, Win with Black Women, generated $1.6 million in revenue. According to the campaign, over 1.1 million distinct donors contributed the $100 million total, with 62% of them being first-time contributors. The campaign spokesperson for Vice President Harris, Gavin Newsom, stated, "The historic outpouring of support for Vice President Harris represents exactly the kind of grassroots energy and enthusiasm that wins elections. Already, we are seeing a broad and diverse coalition come together to support our critical work of talking to the voters that will decide this election. There is a groundswell of support for Harris," according to Munoz. On Sunday, the vice president formally began her presidential campaign, following Mr. Biden's announcement that he would be withdrawing from the 2024 contest. The president promptly endorsed Harris as the Democratic nominee for president, and numerous other prominent Democrats promptly declared their support for the vice president. The Biden campaign duly submitted papers to the Federal Election Commission, changing its name to Harris for President. Rising stars in the party who were thought to be Mr. Biden's replacement have thrown their support behind Harris, including the governors of Michigan, Pennsylvania, and California, Gavin Newsom, and Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan. The campaign spokesperson for Vice President Harris, Gavin Munoz, stated, "The historic outpouring of support for Vice President Harris represents exactly the kind of grassroots energy and enthusiasm that wins elections. Already, we are seeing a broad and diverse coalition come together to support our critical work of talking to the voters that will decide this election. There is a groundswell of support for Harris," according to Munoz.